Good evening. I am Father Gilbert from the Salesian province of Kolkata at Nitika, Bosco, Kolkata. I am here to introduce the special anniversary year of Laudato Si. This is what I am going to present to you. Before I present, let me introduce the people who worked behind. We are presenting in collaboration with the Dicastery of Promoting Human Development, Integral Human Development from Vatican City, and the coordinator of the sector of ecology and creation, Father Jostrom, has helped us to present this entire document for you. And also the dimension of education to faith from the Salesian Conference, Provincial Conference of South Asia. Education to faith dimension is one of the dimensions in our youth ministry, and this particular department is also collaborating. And finally, Nitika Don Bosco Catechetical Center. So we are doing it together for you, especially we are in the year of Laudato Si. So that is in short those who are involved in this presentation. Now let me give you the content of presentation. I'll begin with preliminary information about this Laudato Si year, which has already started from May 24th of this year. Then we will begin with an introductory talk from Vatican Dicastery or Dicastery of Promoting Human Integral Development, especially from the sector of ecology and creation. And that will be by Father Jostrom Kuritadam, who is the organizer of this special year and also coordinator of this particular sector. Then we go to the 7 basic features of this Laudato Si year. And among the 7 features, first one we begin with the reasons for this Laudato Si year. Then we go to the goals of Laudato Si year. There are 7 goals in this Laudato Si year. We will see that. Then after that, activities and actions during this Laudato Si year already started, and projects and plans for this Laudato Si year. And along with that, 7-year plan after this Laudato Si, how to take forward this Laudato Si year to the next 7 years. Then awards for Laudato Si year. There are various levels of awards already planned for this Laudato Si year. And finally, what are the implications for us, especially based on this Laudato Si year. So that is what I'm going to present to you. So let us go to some preliminary information, the year. When did we begin this year? Pope Francis announced this special anniversary year, Laudato Si year, from 24th May 2020 till the next 24th May 2021. Why do we celebrate this special year? Basically, it is because of the encyclical of Pope Francis, Laudato Si. I believe this particular encyclical of Pope Francis has been the landmark of his papacy and also a paradigm in the understanding of the church towards moral life and entire integral human development. So this year has been the anniversary, 5th anniversary of this particular encyclical. So it was released in 2015. So we are celebrating 5th anniversary. That is one reason. Who are the coordinators of this Laudato Si year? The coordinators of Laudato Si year belongs to the particular dicastery. Dicastery would mean a particular department or commission in the Vatican, and that is promoting integral human development. And they are the organizing committee or commission. And in that there is a sector called Ecology and Creation. And Father Jostrom, a Salesian priest, an Indian Salesian priest, who is the coordinator of this sector, and he is also the organizer, chief organizer of the entire Laudato Si. You can see the Father Jostrom. Now let us begin first and foremost with Father Jostrom from his own resource. I had asked him to present a few minutes of introduction to the entire Laudato Si. Then we will go step by step to each of the details. Over to Vatican City, Father Jostrom, SDB.
Hello, greetings from the Vatican Dicastery for promoting integral human development. I'm delighted to share with you about the Laudato Si special anniversary year that was announced by Pope Francis on 24th of May 2020. Just three things about the Laudato Si special anniversary year. Why did Pope Francis proclaim this anniversary year? What is the program of this initiative, and how do we realize it? To begin with, why did Pope Francis announce a special Laudato Si Jubilee year, we might say? When we can say in response to three cries, the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. And both these cries have been amplified by the pandemic that we are living. And there's also a third cry, it's the cry of children, of young people. Of late, we have seen them descending on our streets, into our public squares, demanding that we really take seriously the care for our common home. So Pope Francis is responding to the sufferings of the planet, to the sufferings of the poor, and the call for urgency from our own young children. Now, what is the program of the Laudato Si special anniversary year? Now, these are structured in two tiers. First of all, we have the programs of this year, of the special anniversary year, beginning from 24th of May 2020 to 24th of May 2021. Initiatives like the Season of Creation from 1st of September up to 4th of October, the Feast of St. Francis of Assisi, the Great Global Education Alliance that will take place in October, the Economy of Francesco meeting in November in Assisi, and several initiatives which will end on the 24th of May, on the 6th anniversary of Laudato Si in 2021, with the musical and Laudato Si awards and several things taking place on that occasion. A second tier, probably more important, are the 7-year plans that the Laudato Si anniversary year will end with. And we have identified 7 areas: families, parishes and dioceses, schools, universities, hospitals, businesses and religious orders. So inviting these communities, beginning with the family, is very interesting, but also our own communities, our own educational institutions, businesses, everyone, to begin a 7-year of integral ecology, responding to what we call the Laudato Si goals. Like SDGs, we thought of LSGs, that is that we respond to the cry of the earth, we respond to the cry of the poor, that we work on ecological economics, that we change our lifestyles. Then the 2 pillars of education and spirituality. And the 7th one is that we do all this as community. So this is the program of the Laudato Si special anniversary year, and nearly a decade-long 7-year plans. And the last point is, how do we realize it? Very simple. As Pope Francis says, together, in partnership, creating networks. And from below, that as Jesus tells us in the Bible, salvation begins from below. And Pope Francis tells us in Laudato Si, everyone's contribution, everyone's talent is important. So we realize the anniversary year, we celebrate the anniversary year, we realize the 7-year plans, working together, hand in hand and in partnership. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Father Jostrom. He has in fact summarized entire purpose, the why, what, where, how of Laudato Si in 3 minutes. What I am going to do now is just to elaborate and explain in detail in 30 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. Thanks, Father Jostrom. Now, let us see the 7 main features of this Laudato Si. Let us begin with the first one, the reasons for the year. What are the reasons? One reason we already mentioned, that is 5th anniversary of Laudato Si encyclical. Those of us who have not read, please do read and try to understand. A very beautiful encyclical on creation, on our common home, actually. The second reason, we already know, we are already in the COVID-19 experience that has shaken us up. And this advent of COVID-19 has made us aware kind of interconnectivity, interdependence. Laudato Si mentioned several times everything is connected, and that is making us aware during this COVID-19. And also two important cries we need to respond in this time: cries of the poor and the cries of the earth. The cry of the poor and cry of the earth. And also finally to have a better world, a better life for our generations to come, our children. So these are the reasons behind. And let us look at these reasons a little more in detail. Let us go to the response to the cry of the earth. What is this cry of the earth? Cry of the earth, in letter to the Romans, St. Paul says the earth is groaning in pain because we have harmed this earth, and the earth and the entire creation is groaning in pain. So it is a kind of warnings from the scientific community that has already reminded us several times that we are going to reach a stage where we cannot come back to the old charm and beauty of the earth unless we are able to reverse this. So this cry has been alerted several times by the scientific community. What is this actually? The cry of the poor. When the entire earth environment is harmed, who are the victims who suffer most? The poor people, not the rich. The poor suffer most, and there is this cry coming from the poor who are affected mostly because of this. So we need to respond to their cry too. They are interconnected. And the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor have been amplified by the current issue, COVID-19. COVID-19 emergency added to this cry actually, where people suffer. Entire world is suffering because of this virus. So this is also in relation to this Laudato Si. And to the above cries, what we need to be adding is the future generation, our children's children, how they will face if this is going to go on like this. So we need to respond also to the lives of generations that are going to come. So these are the reasons, and in this reason, what we need to do, we need to take up concrete action, a kind of ecological conversion and transformative actions. So this year, it is not just for thinking and reflecting, it is from leading from awareness to attitude, an attitudinal change, and finally to action. So transformative action that can help us during this year. That's the purpose and the reason behind, and the reasons behind this Laudato Si year. Now let us go to the second point, the goals of this Laudato Si year. We already saw some of these goals coming from these reasons, and based on this reason, we need to respond to the cry of the earth for a clean planet. That's the first goal we need to achieve. There are several agencies and organizations, including UN, have initiated sustainable development goals, and nations and organizations at large. So we need to respond to this cry of the poor. First goal. Second goal, to the cry of the poor, in defense of the human life, sustaining human life, for a healthy human life. And third, for ecological economics. We will see what exactly do we mean by ecological economics, proper economy in our life. And fourth one, adoption of simple lifestyles. This is another goal. Simple lifestyle that will help us to live integral human ecology and integral ecology too. Fifth one, ecological education. If you want to transform our life, first thing is education. So ecological education and ecological spirituality, a way of life, is not only to learn but also to live. A spirituality, a way of life, ecological spirituality. And number 7, finally, community involvement and community development. This has to be participated and acted by a kind of community levels, not only individual level, social level, family life. We will see how community levels we can initiate all these goals. So these 7 goals, as you see there, these 7 goals are the most important goals of this Laudato Si year. We will see one by one of these 7 goals. Let us look at the first goal: response to the cry of the earth. What do we mean by responding to the cry of the earth? How do we achieve this response to the cry of the earth? A few suggestions given by the Dicastery is this, given by Pat Jostrom too in his talk. Greater use of clean, renewable energy. You know that in physics, energy can neither be destroyed nor be created. But energy that we have is constant in this universe, energy and matter. But we can transform it in a renewable way, use renewable energy like sun energy or air, water, and such natural resources to be used. And reducing fossil fuels. That can reduce carbon data or carbon. Carbon can be eliminated from our universe, and carbon pollutes the earth. So burning of the forest and other elements which increases the carbon content in our universe. And efforts to protect and promote biodiversity. There are millions and billions of life systems in this universe. Some are already extinct because of our carelessness. So we need to support them and promote this biodiversity. Not even one of these species can survive on its own. All of us need to support each other to survive, including we human beings. Each one of us cannot live alone. We need the support of other systems in this world to survive. In that sense, every diverse living systems need each other. So we all are interconnected. And also guaranteeing access to clean water for all. That is also listen to cry. Many parts of the world, people don't have access to potable water. And in Laudato Si, Pope Francis says, access or right to have potable water is the fundamental right for every citizen, every human being. So these are all few goals of the cry of the earth. Let us go to the second goal: responding to the cry of the poor. What do we mean by that? Defense of human life from the moment of conception till death, and all forms of life, not only human life but all forms of life, but first and foremost human life. Pope Francis and Pope Benedict will say, if human ecology is set right, entire ecology will be in the order. So we need to respect and every form of life, starting with human form of life, with special attention to vulnerable groups such as indigenous communities, migrants, children, and also those who are risked through slavery. Today there are many forms of modern slavery, flesh trade. There are many other slaveries today. So we need to find ways and means to help people to come out of this. Third goal. Let us go to the third goal. What is the third goal? Ecological economics. What do we mean by ecological economics? Sustainable production, fair trade, ethical consumption, ethical investment. What do you mean by that? A just market system. There is no corruption in our social economic system. Ethical consumption. That means we consume not only the food, anything that we consume. Ethical, we don't waste. A simple example would be Pope Francis would say, don't waste food. If you're wasting food, you are stealing from the table of the poor. In Laudato Si explains, that is simple way in our families, in our communities, to maintain this ecological economics. Uh, Divestment from fossil fuels and any economic activity harmful to the planet and to the people. So anything that harms our common home, anything that harms our people today, divestment, don't invest into it. And what do we need to invest in renewable energy, such kind of things that won't harm the earth, that won't harm the people. So that is ecological economics, one goal through this Laudato Si. Number 4, adoption of simple lifestyles. We can't be rich, we can't live a luxurious life. Why? Sobriety in the use of resources and energy, a moderate, simple lifestyle, especially in the use of resources and energy, so that we don't waste. Especially avoid single-use plastics. What is the meaning of single-use plastics? Plastic element that we use for once only, after use and throw, that is harmful to the earth. If you are using for a long time, like we use plastic cup, plastic for utensils, which we use for a long time, we don't throw it away. But single use plastics are dangerous. That is one thing. Adopt a more plant-based diet. Let us try to get into a kind of diet, vegetables and plant-based diet. Reduce meat consumption. That does not mean never have any non-veg, but reduce meat consumption. Greater use of public transport, so that we don't pollute the earth using our private vehicles and private transport. So less pollution in the air, and avoid polluting modes of transportation. Even when we use our transportation system, less pollution. For this, our Pope Francis himself is an example. When he was the Cardinal of Buenos Aires in Argentina, he never had a private vehicle of his own. He used to go by public transportation system, buses and trains, for his traveling. The next goal, ecological education. Education is very important, and ecological education. So how do we get into this ecological education? The Dicastery says, rethink and redesign our educational system, our educational curricula. So in our curriculums that we have, we need to redesign. We need to rethink, so that we redesign in the spirit of integral ecology. And how do we do that? One way is to create ecological awareness and ecological action in our system of education. It's not enough to have awareness and action, ecological action, ecological awareness. And from there, we just don't do for some time, but it becomes a way of life. It becomes a vocation. So promoting ecological vocation. What is the meaning of ecological vocation? A kind of way of life. It's a part of my life as a teacher, as a student, as a staff, as a leaders of the society and the church. It becomes part of my culture, part of my life actually. Otherwise, what we do normally, when an earth day comes, when a water day comes, environment day, in our schools and communities, we go and plant something and we forget about it. And the following year, we plant again, perhaps in the same spot. That is not a culture. That is isolated activity. Whereas ecological vocation would mean it becomes part of my life way, part of my system, part of my way of life. So this is what ecological education means. Let us go to the sixth one, ecological spirituality. What is the meaning of ecological spirituality? Recover a religious vision of God's creation. So when we have a kind of experience and approach towards the creation around us, kind of approach with a kind of religious vision. Jesus had this vision. When he looked at the birds, when he looked at the grass in the field, lilies of the field, he saw God behind. How do we look at the creation? Do we have a religious vision of the entire creation? That's the first thing. Encourage greater contact with the natural world in a spirit of wonder, praise, joy, and gratitude. Psalms are very good examples for this. Psalms had the sense of wonder, sense of praise towards the creation. We have beautiful example, Saint Francis of Assisi. He had this sense of wonder. He even considered entire creation as part of his family, brother, sun, sister, moon. Promote creation-centered liturgical celebrations, develop ecological catechesis, prayer, retreats, formation, etc. So in all our training and formation, education, even in the faith education and formation, develop a kind of ecological sense inside, ecological element and content inside, so that we are not isolated from the rest of the entire common home. I remember some years back when I organized Taste prayer among the high school boys and girls. During the intercessory prayer, they were asked to write down their intentions, and I saw some of the intentions were quite strange for most of us. We normally pray for sick people, we normally pray for our parents and our relatives, dear ones, etc., human beings, but some of them prayed for the rose plants in their garden. Another one prayed for the seeds that were put for sprouting, and they prayed for that. Beautiful. No, they are connected. They are the people who are interconnected, teaching us a lesson of interconnectivity. And let us go to the next goal, the seventh one, community involvement and participatory action. The final goal. What do we mean by that? In order to care for the creation, we need to do it at the local level, regional level, national level, and at world at large, international level. We need to do it together, not as individuals alone. We can also do as individuals, but at a larger way with communities involved. Promote advocacy and people's campaign. Support each other, support organizations, and coordinate with the different organizations, different movements, and help each other. And encourage rootedness in our local territory, our culture, neighborhood, ecosystem. So we should not be apart from where we live. We are part of this earth, we are part of this culture, we are part of this ethos where we live. So our rootedness and traditions should be part of that one. So that is actually the seventh community part of the goal. Now let us go to some of the activities during this Laudato Si year. I'm going to give you a list of activities that are planned during this year. Whole list there on the screen you will find. Some of the activities already over. For example, the first three are already over. Laudato Si week. 1 week was initiated before the Laudato Si officially started on 24th May. Laudato Si week was initiated. That is already over. Prayer for Earth and Humanity on 24th May through the intercession of Mary, Help of Christians, because that is a day of the feast of Mary, Help of Christians. Already Pope Francis had written a prayer on that day for the people to pray. That is already over. Dicasterial Laudato Si text on Laudato Si. What is that? That is also released. At the moment, it is not translated into many other languages. It would be done within a month or two so that all of us can access through the Holy See website this particular text, which specifically will give us an idea, orientation, all the activities that are going to come. So that will come soon in our language, especially English and other languages. And other things that you see there, you will find a whole lot of programs through the entire year, and concluding with the celebrations and awards and musical ceremonies. That's a whole program, and we will see as we get the document that was released on 18th June. Special projects. Apart from here, there are special projects that will be promoted, that are initiated during this year. What are they? Documentary film on Laudato Si. So from all parts of the world, this will be encouraged. Documentary films on Laudato Si, short movies or big long movies. Laudato Si living chapels, a kind of experience of God and the creation, living chapels. Laudato Si gardens. Laudato Si Institutes Network, listen, that program. Laudato Si tree initiatives. Plastic Bank, fighting against the plastic pollution. And Laudato Si Bible context. Lessons to be learned for knowledge. And finally, Laudato Si quiz. So these are the few projects that will be coming soon from the Dicastery, and also we can enter into it by also participating, by also initiating all this in our local levels. What happens after this Laudato Si year? When a year is over, everybody forgets of this year, but they have planned to take it forward to the coming 7 years. And what are the plan they have? Plan at family levels, plan at schools levels, educational sector, plan at universities, plan at health centers and hospital level, plan for parishes and dioceses, plan for agricultural farms, and plan for religious communities. So at all the sectors of our life, there are very many plans and projects to take this year, this special anniversary year, forward to the coming 7 years, so that we don't stop here. It continues, so that we benefit continuously throughout these coming years. Now let us go to awards which they have set for the year Laudato Si. Best Laudato Si individual, local and global individuals. The criterion for all these awards will be informed to us in due time. Best Laudato Si family. Best Laudato Si education institutions at school level, college level, university level. Best Laudato Si faith community. There are different levels of faith community: parishes, religious communities, dioceses, different church groups, etc. Best Laudato Si action initiatives, participating in people's movements and organization, etc. Best Laudato Si economy, business, labor initiatives in the area of shared economy, etc. And Best Laudato Si communication initiative in the area of publication, artistic productions, art, media, literature, everywhere. So there are a lot of initiatives and projects coming up. And at the end, we may ask, in what way I can be involved? In what way our community, our family can be involved? What are some implications of this? I would put in 3 levels the implications of this entire Laudato Si year. First, initiate ecological sensitivity in families. I believe, especially in our context of India, environmental consciousness will not come by just putting dustbin here and there, or by just planting some trees. It has to begin from the smallest unit in our society and the church, and that is family. Unless family is educated, sensitivity enters into the families, and we need to plan and strategize how to initiate this sensitivity, ecological sensitivity, first in the families. We cannot make it do it in the society unless family is, in fact, is motivated well. Where we can already introduce wasting food, teach our children not to waste food, garbage system, cleanliness outside the territory. We don't clean the outside of the family or the house. We clean our house and room well, and we throw the garbage out. Do we also have sensitive to the no man's land or public space? We are so much worried about private space, but not the public space. So we should start this from the family. Second, promote projects, initiatives at various levels. Cultivate if you have any barren land, any empty space in our territory, in our homes, families, communities. Don't leave any wastelands. Connectivity to the poor, neighborhood. That is also the cry, not only of the earth, cry of the poor. Better human ecology is better ecological system. So connected to the renewable energy in our locality, and promote eco-education and eco-spirituality. How do we promote eco-education and ecos? We already saw some of the ways we can initiate this eco-education and eco-spirituality in our parishes, in our schools, in our communities, which should not be few activities. It should begin from awareness and attitudinal change and action. Action should lead us to habit and way of life. Then only we can say, we have entered into this vocation. Otherwise, it is not a vocation. So, that's all from Nitika Don Bosco. It is a Nitika Don Bosco presentation, but however, in collaboration with, we are happy to collaborate with Vatican Dicastery, especially Father Joston, who is coordinating this entire Laudato Si year, from the Dicastery Integral Human Development, and also Education to Faith dimension of the SPCSA, Salesian Provincial Conference of South Asia, has got a sector in the youth ministry, a dimension in the youth ministry, education to faith. And we are collaborating together with them. And thank you very much for listening. Hope it will benefit you and it will lead you to transformative action. Thank you. See you again.